What is going on, Perfect Nation, Pokeheads, Poke Champs? My name is Dooley. I'm an administrator over at PerfectPokemon.com. Two quick things before we jump into today's battle. One is we have a poll over at Perfect Pokemon where we're trying to decide what we want to call ourselves. Perfect Nation could be one of them. Um, but I'm going to leave a description in the comment to that poll. Please check it out, vote, and leave your comment if you're already a community member. If you're not already a community member, then what are you doing with your life? Um, Second thing is we have a another thread over on the website where we are offering people the chance to get their shops featured in our weekly newsletter. Our weekly newsletter is going really well. We're getting tons of opens every time we send it out, and tons meaning like literally what tons mean, like over 1,000 of whatever, right? So it's a good opportunity, especially if you're new to the community and you just want your shop to get some exposure. All right, today's battle is a big one. This is the final battle, the battle to determine the championship of the tournament, Fire Flame, which happened last week. This was a tournament of 34 people, over 30 people. This final battle is between Neek and AndromedaNexus, both top tier players. It's a really good battle. It's kind of a long one. I'm not the one narrating it. It's Neek. I did what I could with his audio, but you know, I think he did a great job. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below and subscribe. See you guys later. Enjoy.
Hello, this is Niqyue of PerfectPokemon.com giving you a play-by-play of the Fire Flame tournament, so let's get started. So I led with my Skarmory, expecting something like Landorus, which I got right. And I use my Stealth Rocks because it's the best play for me, in my opinion. And I get my Rocky Helmet knocked off, which, I mean, it hurts me later on in the battle, but it's not going to be that much of a problem. So after I get up my rocks, I have no problem of staying in. He's going to end up using knockoff again, which is fine for me because Skarmory is physically defensive. And I use Roost to get that recovery up. If he switches it out, I'm fine because I could always switch out too. It doesn't hurt me here whether or not he switches into something that can do a lot of damage to my Skarmory because I still have my Chansey as it's very early in the battle. So I go ahead and use Whirlwind, predicting that switch. And he goes out into his Diancie, which is a big problem because this is definitely Mega Diancie. There's no doubt about it. So I have to switch out into my Chansey. So his Diancie Mega evolves and goes for Diamond Storm, as I remember. No, Calm Mind, yes. My bad. So he uses Calm Mind, and I go for Seismic Toss because I literally have no reason to after this turn when he uses Diamond Storm. And that does a lot of damage to the Diancie. So I have no reason not to keep my Chansey in. And I have to go for a Soft Boil here, otherwise he knocks me on next turn. So after this, I could just use another Seismic Toss and get another nice amount of damage on his Diancie. See, look at that. Chansey, eat it up. So that Diancie is nearly dead. Just nearly dead. And I go for another Soft Boiled here, if I remember correctly. Yes. So I go for another Soft Boiled here. He has to switch. There's no reason for him not to switch. As I go for another Seismic Toss, he switches out to his Ferrothorn, which is going to get some nice damage on me because of its ability and its hold item. Oh, no wait, no. I used another Soft Boil. My bad. So anyway, I switch out my Chansey to my Conkeldurr. This was my win condition. So when this thing gets taken out, it hurts, it breaks my heart because I love my Conkeldurr. It really breaks my heart when I lose this because once I lose it, battle is over. It's pretty much over for me. Like, I'm kicking myself in the teeth. You'll see what I mean exactly, because what goes on with my Conkeldurr, it's just absolutely horrible. I played so bad with my Conkeldurr. It would have been so important in this match. So he withdraws his Ferrothorn and goes into his Landorus, which I actually thought of, but instead of going for the Ice Punch where I could have OHKO'd this thing, I go and use knockoff, which may hurt me later, which hurts me obviously because his Landorus is still alive, and I'm probably going to lose my Conkeldurr. I'm gonna lose something to this eventually. He goes for another U-turn, and that's a crit. It mattered. And he switches out into Rotom Wash. So I think I'm switching into Conkeldurr here, expecting a Will-O-Wisp so I can get that nice and pretty full burn. So what? I think that's exactly what I do. Yeah, that's what I switch into, and instead he uses Volt Switch, which hurts me a lot. Now, yeah, in this is the turn I lose my Conkeldurr. See, what happened was I was going for the knockoff, expecting him to switch out, expecting my Chansey to come in, which did not happen, obviously, and I lost my Conkeldurr. That was my win condition, because at this point, I have absolutely nothing for his Ferrothorn. He switches out from his Latias when I go into my Jolteon, and switches into Diancie, who faints this turn due to rocks. And it shows that my Jolteon is indeed carrying Hidden Power, which would obviously be Hidden Power Ice. So I think I switch out here with Volt Switch, I'm not sure. But I do lose my Jolteon as well later on in the battle, which I just lose a whole lot of things that would be so useful for me, and I still somehow won this. Still, much respect to my opponent, Nexus. So I switch into my Chansey, expecting him to go for something like Gyro Ball, which he did exactly. Chansey eats that up like a champion. Chansey puts in so much work. Chansey helps me so much in this battle. Goes for the Leech Seed. This turn I probably should have switched into my Venusaur, as Venusaur would help me quite a lot against that Leech Seed. This Ferrothorn it was pretty much free to do whatever it wanted, which was sad. I used Seismic Toss, which did quite a nice amount of damage, but it actually ended up doing more damage to my Chansey than to his Ferrothorn because of Leech Seed, Gyro Ball, and everything else. But my wish came true, right? Thank you. I love when my wishes come true. And he gets another Leech Seed, Drain. I have to switch out here, so I go into Dooley. Much respect. Dooley's OP. He uses Stealth Rock. I forget exactly what I did this turn. I'm not entirely sure. He uses Leech Seed. I don't know why I stayed in. That was obviously coming. There was no reason for me not to. I use the Whirlwind, and it switches him out into his Rotom. So I think I go into my Chansey here. I'm almost certain that's what I do, as Chansey absolutely walls this thing. And I don't want to keep my Skarmory in. If my Skarmory stays in, Dooley's dead, and I don't want to lose Dooley. Dooley plays a very important role in this battle, so yeah. I switch into my Chansey, and I go for Toxic the turn right after. At least I think I do. Yes. So he uses the Will-O-Wisp on me, which is... I really wish I have my Conkeldurr still, which I don't, because, I played badly on that. So I lose my Conkeldurr, and he uses Pain Split, and I use Toxic. Toxic was my best play here. This helps me very late in the battle, like on his Rotom, because it basically helps me win. Otherwise I had no chance. So Chansey is burned currently. I think I go for Soft Boiled here, and then I switch. I'm almost certain that's what I do. At least looking back, that's what I should have done. So yeah, I went for Soft Boiled when he switched into his Ferrothorn, and I think I go out to Venusaur this time. This was my best play going into Venusaur this time around. So yeah, I switch into my Venusaur. Thick Boy. And I think I Mega Evolve this turn, and I think I go for Giga Drain. Oh, looks like we got a slight bit of lag here though on the video. This happened in the last one I was trying to record, but it gave me a little bit of a problem. This one actually solves itself. I'm not sure where it's going to pick up, but it will pick up eventually. So I'm just gonna talk to you guys while it does. I'm not sure what happened in this time period, but I do know that my Venusaur does live because I have it later on in the battle. I'm not entirely sure what he switches into his Ferrothorn. He switches it into something that's going to be a pain in the ass, probably something like Latios. Yeah, so he switches into Latios. Somehow we have Chansey versus Latios now. I used my Toxic, right? Chansey did its job. It put in work. I think I'm getting a Wish boost. Wish from here now? No, I don't get a Wish. He uses Defog when he could have knocked out my Chansey, which is I used this was a very bad play here, in my opinion, on him. Yes, he got rid of rocks, but I got to keep my Chansey for a whole nother turn. I get the Toxic stall his Latios out now, which would help him a lot in this battle. I'm not sure. I'm sorry about what might have happened between the turns before. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but yeah. So Chansey goes for Seismic Toss again. And that does another nice amount of damage on his Ferrothorn. But I switch out on my Chansey. I go back to Venusaur, I think. Yeah, so I go back to Thick Boy, who is it? Not okay. So I think this is just a replay of what happened. Yeah, so he goes through Stealth Rocks. No, this is not a replay of what happened. This is me. I Mega Evolve here. No, yeah, this is what happened. Okay, so it was a slight lag, and this is what happened. He goes into this. I think I might have used Sludge Bomb. I might have used Ledge Bomb. I don't think I used Leaf Seed. Let's check. We'll see right now. By the way, I hope you guys like the music. I found it on YouTube. Ooh, that did so much damage, but obviously he's gonna have to go for the Roost here. If he does not go for the Roost, I was not able to risk him not going for Roost, so I had to switch out. There was absolutely nothing I could do about that. So I think I set up Rocks again, even though he's got his Defogger out, which doesn't make sense to me looking back on it, but he goes into his Rotom after I use Stealth Rocks, which is the obvious play for me. And after this, I switch into... Oh no, okay, I was going to use Stealth Rocks, but he switched out. So I switch into my Suicune, right, getting ready to set it up. Hopefully being able to set it up. And he goes for the Volt Switch, which is gonna do quite a lot. It's a scary amount of damage on my Suicune because Suicune is the most important Pokemon on my team at the moment. So he goes back into his Latios. I think I have to switch. I switch here into Chansey. I'm almost certain I do. It would be the best play for me to do because Latios can, yeah. So I switch into my Chansey. His Latios is gonna keep getting lower from this Toxic, which just helps me so much. He gets the Draco Meteor here, which is gonna hurt me, but I don't think it's gonna OHKO my Chansey. No, so it doesn't OHKO my Chansey, but he is gonna take quite a lot of damage from Toxic. He uses Psyshock. I think I lose my Chansey here, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so I lose my Chansey, which is unfortunate at this moment in the battle, as he still got his Latios alive. He still got his Ferrothorn and everything like that. It was really my best switch on most things. So here I have to sacrifice Dooley, which he switches out actually, which helps me when he switches out into Dooley. When I switch out into Dooley. And he goes back into his Talonflame, predicting the Stealth Rock, so it can't get any prior damage. He uses the Brave Bird, which I think it's going to be enough to OHKO? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it's enough, no. But it's not enough to OHKO him as well, which sucks a lot. But it switches him back into his Ferrothorn, which for the longest time I did not know what this Ferrothorn's fourth move was. It was Stealth Rock, Leech Seed, Gyro Ball. That's all I knew. So I was really hoping he didn't have Thunder Wave for things like so his Talonflame dies to Stealth Rocks, and as I was saying, for things like Venusaur, because that would, you know, hurt Venusaur in the late run, because that's one of the things I need just to be able to sort of handle his Ferrothorn. So I go into Venusaur here, I think, right? Yes, I go into Venusaur, trying to take out this Rotom, and he goes for, I think, Will-O-Wisp. No, okay, so he uses Volt Switch. I'm using Leech Seed this turn, I think, and he goes into his Ferrothorn. I think. I'm not entirely sure. No, he goes into his Latios. So his Latios takes damage from rocks and faints. So that thing's out of the way. My two biggest threats to Venusaur is out of the way, but unfortunately I don't carry Hidden Power Fire, so I have no way of taking out Ferrothorn any point in this battle. So he uses another Volt Switch, expecting me to go for either Giga Drain or Leech Seed, which is not going to help me at all if I do go for Leech Seed. No, actually he switches into his Landorus, which is not the best play in my opinion. He should have switched into his Ferrothorn. I can't touch it at all. I think he loses his Landorus here. He does. He loses something that could have helped him a lot with U-turn damage on my Venusaur. If he carries U-turn, that is. So now he switches into his Ferrothorn, which is going to take rock damage, I think. Yeah, so it takes rock damage, and there's literally nothing I can do to this Ferrothorn. And there's nothing this Ferrothorn can do to me, but it actually does quite a lot of damage with its Gyro Ball. Even though I do carry, I think I carry a negative speed nature, which is weird that it did that much damage. So at this point, my Venusaur looks like it's going to die to Ferrothorn, which is not good for me at all. So I think I switch out into my Suicune, trying to set up once more. No, I switch into Dooley, my Skarmory, who put in quite a lot of work to be able to last this long in this battle. I think I sacrifice him here, which is the thing I had to do. No, I don't sacrifice him here. So I use the Roost, I stall him out one more turn, waste more of his PP, which is great for me because his my team is stall, and my late game condition to win is Suicune. It's my only chance that I have at winning this. He's going to keep getting Leech Seed recovery on his Ferrothorn, which does not help me at all. So his fourth move is Protect, which was really annoying to find out this late in the game. It was really annoying to find out that it had Whirlwind. But this Rotom takes Stealth Rock's damage. It's poisoned, and yeah, I think it takes out my Dooley here. It gets Leech Seed recovery off me, which this is just not helping me at all. So I think it uses Volt Switch here. I'm not entirely sure what happens. I think I switch into my Venusaur. Yeah, so I switch into my Venusaur. Thick Boy is going to go down sooner or later in this battle. He can't really help me win as I don't carry Hidden Power Fire Venusaur. That nice and powerful Avoid by Venusaur on that Will-O-Wisp helps me a little bit more, just one more turn of stalling out, because that's pretty much my only chance here. It doesn't matter how many Pokemon he has left or what he has left. He's still in the better chance to win. I was just kicking myself in the teeth at this point in the battle, having like no chance or hope of winning, because the one condition I had to win, he had two counters for it in Ferrothorn and Rotom Wash, which was just sad for me. So I use Giga Drain here. I think I lose my Venusaur either right here, or I lose my Venusaur here. Just trying to get off as much damage as possible on this Ferrothorn before I go out into my Suicune. At least I think. Before I go out into my Suicune. Okay, so there's another freeze here, I guess, in this part of the battle. Which it does resume itself. It does fix eventually, just like the last one. Not entirely sure why it did this in this battle, but it'll fix itself just like it did with the last one. And yeah, I'm almost certain I go into my Suicune here, which is my only chance of winning. I have no other chance of winning besides this Suicune. If I don't have Suicune, I lose. And if Suicune goes down to anything, I lose. So we're just waiting on this part to resume, if it ever will resume. Hopefully it does. So yeah, we're at this point where I think my Suicune already has a few comp mines set up. It's resting, it has Sleep Talk. I do mess up one time when I'm asleep though, which is kind of funny. I don't use Sleep Talk, I use Scald instead. Hopefully you guys get to see that, so you can make fun of me and see how bad I actually am. But somehow still managed to win a tournament. So my Suicune is at quite a lot of amount of health, right? And I think it has Leech Seed on it as well. So yeah, it does have Leech Seed on it from the Ferrothorn. But his Rotom Wash is gonna take that toxic damage. It's gonna probably use Pain Split here. I'm almost yeah. So it uses Pain Split here, gets more recovery. My Suicune loses a little bit of health. I think yeah. So I use another Sleep Talk this turn, and I think I get either a Rest or a Calm Mind. I get a Scald here. Okay, so I get a Scald here. Takes a nice amount of damage, but it's not quite a lot, as I still need to set up more Calm Mind. So as he switches out with Volt Switch, I think I use another Calm Mind as I wake up. Which, in the long run, I should have predicted some of these using Scald on his Ferrothorn, trying to get that burn earlier. But at this point, it's just a stall fest. I have to stall him out quicker than he stalls me out. He has to try and make me waste my PP on Rest to where I can no longer recover as much as he can. But the fortunate thing about me is I have the better stalling ability in Pressure. So I wake up, I use another Calm Mind. I'm in no danger of this Ferrothorn OHKOing me. It doesn't have Power Whip. It doesn't have its Gyro Ball isn't going to be strong enough to take me out at this amount of health. So I get that Calm Mind up. He gets that Leech Seed recovery. Now this is where it gets a little scary for me. He uses the Leech Seed, and I think his Gyro Ball gets pretty close, or it did pretty close amount of damage to knocking me out last time. So he goes and uses, I think, Gyro Ball here, or he switches out. Yeah, so he does Gyro Ball. I think it does a nice amount of damage. Not that much. I could have, looking back at that, I should not have wasted a Rest that turn. I could have got another Calm Mind up or used another Scald. But yeah, so I use Sleep Talk this turn, obviously, because I have to. I'm asleep. And I think, yeah, so he withdraws his Ferrothorn. And this just goes on for a while like this. And this whole time, I'm just like, I might actually have this, depending on if he gets a crit or not. If he got a crit, I would have lost. But actually, the crits are in my favor. The burns are in my favor later on in this battle. And my Suicune is just clutch. I need to get a new Suicune and have it named Clutch, because that's what it is, for me at least. So this Leech Seed recovery on both of his Pokemon just starts getting annoying for me, because it's just an endless battle of who messes up first. Whoever messes up first loses at this point. Whoever gets a crit will end up losing at this point, which my Suicune obviously gets since I won the tournament. So once again, I'm asleep. He has his Ferrothorn in. I use Sleep Talk this turn once more. I think I get a Rest. I think I get another one right afterwards, which is kind of a bummer, because you don't want to get a Rest when you Sleep Talk. That's just redundant, doesn't make sense, kind of pisses me off when it happens, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's all in the game. It's all about hacks. So he switches back into his Rotom, I guess, trying to get another Volt Switch damage off, and I use Scald here, predicting him to go back into his Rotom Wash just so I can get extra damage on it. And it's at a point to where if he uses Pain Split, I will get the recovery. But so I use another Calm Mind here, I think. I'm almost certain I'm pretty certain I use another Calm Mind here just so I can do a little bit more damage. I should get fully set up on my Suicune in this battle, where it's still not enough to OHKO either of these Pokemon, but it's enough to where I can live and eventually win. So my Suicune gets switched into on his Ferrothorn named Dem Hazards, which I actually kind of like. It's kind of smart. That's pretty powerful. I don't like that he has Protect on it though. In my opinion, he's better off either having Power Whip or Thunder Wave, as a Thunder Wave, not a Thunder Wave, a Power Whip would have been very helpful in this battle for him against my Suicune. So I'm getting dangerously low on my Suicune. I'm at 38 HP. He switches out into his Rotom, expecting me to go for Rest, which I do because I get a little scared of the Gyro Ball plus Leech Seed damage. And I'm all the way back at full health. He's gonna obviously use another Pain Split here, which he pulled this off really well. I think his strategy was pretty well, but I actually eventually won due to hacks in this battle. And so he gets more toxic damage once again, obviously, and this just keeps going on over and over again. He gets that recovery from Pain Split. I think this is the turn I do it where I mess up. No, so I use another Sleep Talk here. I get Scald, which is very, very nice here. That does a nice amount of damage. That does clean to near half health, plus toxic damage, but he'll probably get most of that back with his leftovers, plus Leech Seed recovery. Which isn't going to help me much at all, but it's very helpful for him in this battle. Like I said, it got kind of annoying with all this thing, but the Toxic on his Rotom really helped me a lot because he had to switch out of it quite a lot. Why he went for a Hydro Pump here, I don't know, but fortunately for me it missed, even though it wouldn't have done much anyway. I think he used Hydro Pump for either he misclicked or he was expecting... I don't know what he was... Maybe he was just using it to use some other PP, but other than that, I don't have any idea why he would use Hydro Pump here. It had to be a misclick in my opinion. So I get more to Leech Seed taken from my health, which is just great. It's fine and dandy. It's just helpful for me all the way. Totally saying this sarcastically. So he uses Volt Switch, which he still does have more of, but due to pressure, he's going to keep losing that more and more each turn. He goes out into his Ferrothorn once more. This thing's going to take neutral damage, I think, from my Scald right now. Yeah, so this takes neutral damage from my Scald. It's great I woke up that turn. Rest is nice and powerful about that. So at this amount of health, I think I go for another Scald, or I go for another Calm Mind here, because I have no fear of his Gyro Ball at this point in the battle. I think he goes for another Protect. Yeah, he goes for another Protect, and I do use Rest here. I'm not entirely sure why I used Rest. Looking back on it, I should not have. I could have gone for another Calm Mind or used Scald just in case he wouldn't have used Protect or switched out back to his Rotom Wash. But he switches back out to his Rotom, which this is just a lot of endless switching back and forth. And I think I get the Scald. No, I don't get the Scald here, which is unfortunate because if I had gotten the Scald, I would have won this battle way sooner. I think I get Rest. No, I get Calm Mind. It's not that bad, but Scald would have been the better thing to get. This was a very risky play on his part, hoping for something like Calm Mind or Rest instead of me getting the Scald, because I did near half health damage, and once again it glitches out, which this is the third time this has happened. Not entirely sure why this has happened. So my Suicune is still asleep. He uses Pain Split. I think this is the turn exactly right after where I used. So I use Sleep Talk again. I think I get another Calm. No, I get a Scald here. That's gonna do a nice amount of damage. Yeah, so it does a nice amount of damage. I think I wake up. I wake up this turn. I use another Scald, and I think I get a crit on his Ferrothorn, which is very helpful. We'll see right here. Because I don't take out either of these Pokemon. So yeah, he Volt Switches out again once more. I think this actually might be a replay of what happened earlier. I'm not entirely sure. So he switches back out to Dem Hazards, who is at quite a lot amount of health. It's looking bad for me at this point because I think I'm running low on Scald. But I get that nice and powerful crit, right? This is where things go in my favor quite a lot. So I use another Scald here, I think, because I have no reason not to. And I think I get the burn on this turn. Yeah, I get the burn. He forfeits. No, he uses Stealth Rock because he had no choice. He was running out of PP. Couldn't use Protect. I think he could use Protect. I think this turn right here, it makes it GG. After I use Rest. So after I use Rest, I'm pretty sure it's GG, and I win the battle. He uses Leech Seed once more. There's pretty much nothing he can do at this point. My Suicune is in the best chance of winning. His Ferrothorn is burned. There's nothing he can do with Gyro Ball. So it's GG. I win the Fire Flames tournament. I am now the Fire Starter. And I just like to put much respect for my opponent, and I'd like to be very proud of my team for helping me bring me here, and thanking Dooley for helping me win, not help me win, but help me be a part of such a community and help me grow as a battler and a competitive player. So thank you, Dooley. There's a reason why I have a Skarmory named after you that I got from my boy Gold 2.0, and like to see you all next tournament, which I am gonna end up winning again. So GG guys.